Hi, Afa. We are now on lesson 2, and we will be talking about the differences between solid gases and liquids. We know that one of the differences is the fact that obviously solids do keep their shapes, liquids don't really, but they can still maintain their volume if, for example, we pour them into a container. Oh, there's an S misses on this. I will change that later. But they still, keep their shape in a container, the volume, because obviously we can measure them, can we? If you go, for example, a measuring glass, yes, a measuring jug, we pour liquid in it and it will stay there and we can see how much liquid we got there, so we can actually measure their volume. Of course, then if we pour it away, it doesn't really keep the shape like a solid. But with gases, unless it's at sort of like an airtight container, we cannot really keep them in their shape. We can't really measure their volume. They will just fly everywhere. We got this issue with the aerosol at the moment, haven't we? Anyway, so also, another difference is the fact that with gases, we can actually squash the atoms together. Well, we can't really do that with solids because obviously, or it's at least much harder. So, because it's obviously hard. Now, do we think though that solids are only made of solids, or if sometimes they can be actually made of different physical states? So, our investigation, let's see. If you have a marshmallow at home, raw, please cut it in half, okay? And look inside it. What is it made of? And we're talking about ingredients, but what is the physical state of what's in there? Would you say it's just a solid? Now, if we don't have a marshmallow at home, I have included here a couple of pictures. So imagine squashing this or squishing rather than squashing, squishing this marshmallow. What is happening? Okay, so that's part of our experiment today, because we need to look at that and actually think about the fact that there is actually some air in there, which is a gas. Okay, it's not just a solid. So when you squish it, okay, it's obviously getting a bit flat. But then when you let go, it tends to get his shape back. But what happens if you actually remove the air from it? Would it just get flat? Would it get bigger? Okay, so there is an experiment to do that. And there is a way to do it at the end of this PowerPoint show. But before that, I would like you to watch this video. Please make sure that you do not watch other videos after this one, because this is a roughly 30 seconds. And then I would like you to write your prediction. You don't need to use any templates, but just in your book, write down what you think is going to happen if you continue to remove air from this airtight container. Okay, they've got some specific thing to do that. So in your book, again, just write the prediction of what you think is going to happen if you keep on removing air. Now, once you've done that, so hopefully you can pause the video here and watch it. And I do apologize because I cannot put the video just in case they're going to block it because, again, it comes from YouTube and we have got, we could have problem with copyright and stuff and be accused of plagiarism. But anyway, so stop the video now. So watch the video on YouTube and get back to me. Okay, if you're back now. So did you expect that to happen? Okay. What is important is to actually clarify the fact that the children were just taking out air. So I don't know if it was clear from the video, but basically the children put a marshmallow inside an airtight container, and with a sort of like a pump attached to it, they removed the air that was inside it. They did not add air. So why do you think what happens is that? So now you can watch your second video. They're actually in this particular video, which is quite interesting because it's quite linked to our previous theme, space. In this video, they're doing pretty much the same thing that the children were doing, but they're using an electric vacuum to actually remove the air. And then eventually they actually add the air back. So we're going to see what's going to happen there. They talk a lot about what's going on in there. So they're explaining. There's a lot of it is linked to pressure. Okay. So have a bit of a, actually watch that and have a bit of a think and then come back to me. Okay, so now that you have watched both video, your second task is actually to write if your predictions were correct. Also, we would like you to write what have you learned from this video? Because it could be that your predictions were correct, or it could be that you really did not expect that to happen. I have to say, I myself, I did not expect part of it to happen. But again, I never really thought about removing air from marshmallow. We know well enough that we use marshmallow for something much more fun, probably, when we're outdoors. But you know, in reality, having the opportunity to run the experiment is it's quite nice. So I have attached here at the end of the slide a way to actually recreate your experiment at home. Please do not nag your parents for it. It's something that's always going to be on these slides, so you can do that maybe when your parents have got, your adults have got a bit more time. Don't worry about that. Anyway, I have attached that because I'm sure there's some of you cannot wait to try it. So going back to task 2, I would like you to write your conclusions and your reflections on your predictions and what you have actually learned. Now, there is also a little, need to really change my accent there, a little challenge that you can do as well. So if you have a balloon at home, blow it up and then let go of it, let it go. You can sing when you do it. What's happening? Why do you think is that? So I'm just mentioned at the beginning of this video about gases and how they spread in the aerosol. So can you actually write a little reflection on it based on your very short experience with an inflated balloon that get to be let go of? Okay, how can they flow? Is their shape kept? Is there any particular direction that the gases are going? So that's a little challenge for you. Okay, so again, to recap, task 1 is to write your prediction for the very first experiment. So do you think, what do you think is going to happen when you remove the air? And then task 2 is for you to write your conclusion after watching both experiment, obviously reflection over your prediction and what you have learned from these videos. If you manage to run the experiment, please post some pictures on Tapestry. Bye, year 5.